Today, we're going over the most brutal stories of revenge in human history. Number 1, Olga and the Drevlians. We're starting this list with quite possibly one of the greatest ride-or-die stories in human history, when Olga of Kiev led one of the most terrifying and calculated tours of revenge following the brutal execution of her husband. It's the year 945, and Prince Igor is ruling over Kiev and Rus, an empire that once stretched over modern-day Ukraine, Bulgaria, and a bit of Russia. To his west lived the Drevlians, a tribe who actually kind of hated the Kievan Rus, but occasionally fought alongside them against the Byzantine Empire. When Igor's father Oleg dies in 912, the Drevlians see it as an opportunity to finally stop paying their tribute, aka their forced protection money, to these assholes in Kiev. Igor patiently waits for his money for 33 years until finally deciding, you know what? 34 years would be just too long, and personally travels to the Drevlian capital city of Korostin to collect his money himself. He rode into the city with a large army and demanded tribute, which the Drevlians begrudgingly paid. And that should have been the end of it, and Igor should have gone on to live a long, happy life. But on his ride home, he feels the tribute was just a little too small, so he turns around with a few of his men and heads back to Korostin to demand more. When Igor arrives back at the city and begins shouting his demands, the Drevlians surprisingly do not like this and immediately kill his men. Igor was saved for an extra horrific execution. The Drevlians bent 2 birch trees toward each other and tied one of Igor's legs to each tree. Once Igor's legs were fastened, they cut the supports and the trees snapped back to their original form, ripping Igor into 2 pieces. The Drevlians' ruler, Prince Mal, was now feeling pretty good about himself and set his sights on taking over the larger empire by marrying Igor's widow, Olga. And this is where things all went downhill for the Drevlians, because Olga, she was the wrong person to mess with. Prince Mal sends 20 of his best ambassadors to Kiev to inform Olga what had happened to her husband, and to propose that she marry him to combine their territory. Surprisingly, she seems to take this news well, and tells the messengers that they should go back to their boat to rest for now, and that tomorrow her men would bring them back to the city to get her. The next morning, Olga's men walk down to the shore to get the ambassadors, but instead of just leading them into the city, they pick up their entire boat with all 20 men still in it. The ambassadors are blown away by this hospitality. What service? They're being treated like royalty! Until the ride suddenly got really bumpy. See, all through the night, Olga had her men digging a huge trench, and when her men arrived with the Drevlian ambassadors, she ordered them to dump the boat and all the men on board into this huge hole. She then orders them to bury these messengers alive. The Drevlians can do nothing as dirt is slowly piled on them, and soon they're buried alive.